All right, welcome back to our Tri-State Training Day podcast. I got my man Jeremy Lewis. It's always a pleasure and an honor, FFL Precision, to be on the call with you, brother, and to share in the wisdom that you have. You are elevating your game in 2024. I think it's important that we unlock some of these secrets or these keys to success because, Jeremy, you've been at this thing with us for almost 3-4 years, and you've always kept growing. And now you've taken your game to a whole nother level. And I don't think that's a small feat. I think that, like, people need to understand that getting better every year is what everyone says they want to do, Jeremy. Everyone says they want to do it. But in order to actually do it, the amount of work you have to do to yourself is serious. Yes or no?
For sure. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And
There's no doubt.
You're doing that. So we want to learn from that. So thank you for jumping on with us today, man. How are you doing, my brother?
Hey, for sure, Mark. Thanks again for always having me here, man. I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Family's doing well, man. We're in a good season of life. In terms of the level of success, man, again, all glory to God, man. He's kind of the reason behind everything, you know.
Yes, sir.
So can't take him out of the equation.
I love it. I don't think we'd ever want to, but thank you so much for that. But yeah, man, you know, you're having a record year. You just had the best month you've ever had, so that's strong. And you're moving through the same process, just a little more dialed in. So talk to us about how you came into 2024, the approach you wanted to have, and how it's flourishing and you're seeing the results you wanted to see.
Absolutely, man. So of course we got to go back there to 2023. At the onset of 2023, I wanted to hit Hall of Fame. We accomplished that, and then of course, walking across that stage at convention, definitely a milestone for me. I was very much um, excited about that, but I said something to Sean Mike while I was on that stage. I was like, he asked, how much business you want to write here or issue pay here in 2024, and I said 500,000. And so of course putting that out in the atmosphere, I have to live up to it. So with that, I believe in setting goals and attacking those goals. Of course, I believe, Mark, that there's a big difference between application and execution.
Mm.
Right? It's one thing to take what you've learned and to actually apply it. That's another thing to take what you've learned and actually execute. you know and I think that with execution there's a lot more confidence there's a lot more practice that goes into execution. So
Mm.
I'm doing the work day in and day out. But again, here, when you're setting those goals and you're actually executing, not just applying but executing, I don't want to say it becomes easy, because it's a grit, it's a grind. But now I'm in that season where I'm executing. Of course, you asked about my background there. I was in the military, of course, and so we always believe in developing mission essential task lists, right?
Mm.
And so now at this phase of my business, I'm developing. I'm going back to the military days. I'm developing those mission essential task lists.
Mm.
And every single task that I have written out, I'm executing. With force. And so those principles, of course, bringing them over to the business side of the house, man, setting those goals, developing my medal or my mission essential task list, if you will, and then just moving out and executing. You know, Again, like you pointed out, same processes, same systems in play here. There's no magic wand that I've waved here this year. Just again, just really dialing in. Some things that I have, of course, implemented here. I think we started right there around the middle of last year, but we're really dialing in on it now. Is of course, the live dial system and live dials platform. That we have certain standards and certain rules, certain regulations on the live dials. Being there in that um, co-op, if you will, or having that camaraderie. Again, still some words from the military there, but being around the right people, man, and not allowing the negativity to set in, man, that has proven not only pivotal for me, that's proven pivotal for my team, man. So of course we are growing now at a pretty decent pace. Um, Again, here, I want to hit Hall of Fame as an agency. I
Let's
didn't
go.
necessarily make that a goal for this year, but um, I mean, I think that it can happen. Again, if we just dial in and really execute.
100%. I believe it. I love this medal. Mission essential task list. That's great. But what
For
I love
sure.
even more is the picture behind you. Do you mind walking us through that picture and kind of describing what's happening there? Because it's obviously you serving, and thank you for your service, my brother. So if you could
For
walk us
sure.
through that, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, man. So of course, this was literally year number one in the army.
Mm,
Of course, I was a pretty much a brand new lieutenant. Well, year number two, I would say. I was pretty much a brand new lieutenant. I had actually climbed up to the ranks of first lieutenant, and I got to, of course, go overseas, man, down range to Iraq. This was just a mission set. Of course, this particular mission right here, it was a basic key leader engagement. It was all for us. It was all about winning the hearts and minds of the people at that point in time. Yeah, we had some rough days, but yet it's still, of course, this is really one of the key leader engagements. Of course, we go approaching this village. Whenever you approach a village, being military, they saw us as celebrities, saw us as as movie stars, if you will, man. And so, of course, they're um, took my gloves off and shaking hands with some of the local kids out there in the area, and of course being escorted by the Iraqi police. Man, this was one of the, I guess, the bright spots of
mm,
being now arranged in Iraq. Everything in Iraq isn't bad, and everything in Afghanistan is not bad.
yeah.
They're still people, they're still humane.
Mm,
And absolutely, man. So again, there was a lot of lessons learned. With this particular village, this was a village called Shwan, which was in Iraq. But a lot of lessons I've learned, man. Of course, patrolling those villages and neighborhoods out there in Iraq, man, that I even apply in business today, man. So, yeah. So this, of course, I love my military service. Did about 6 years. Had one combat tour over to Iraq as a maneuver platoon leader. And so when we talk about the mission essential task list, man, of
mm.
course, this particular engagement was a part of that, a piece of that, if you will.
That's incredible, man. That's incredible. Thank you for your service, man. That's an
Most
awesome
definitely.
story, man. Uh, and so now you're applying. You're intentionally applying some of the things you learned in the military to business. Has it always been this way, or are you like re-engaging in this to try to dial it in further and take it to another level?
Mark, it has, but it hasn't, right? My wife reminded me here. This must have been a couple of months ago now. She told me in so many words that I had gotten soft. And of course,
I wasn't
she
ready. I had to like digest that for like 7 seconds. But I love it. Okay, obviously this is
you know,
working in your home, so I'm in.
for sure, man, for sure. She told me I had gotten soft in business, and soft in my engagements, even with the agents. And of course, I have a huge heart, and of course, I want to help everybody. But she just reminded me about my time spent in the military, and how I was so eager, focused on the mission,
Mm,
and I wouldn't allow anybody to come between me and the mission.
mm,
And so of course here, it kind of the light bulb kind of went off in my head there. So again, when we're on live dials, and where I was previously lax on certain standards, now we're not as lax anymore. So yeah, man. Of course, it just that switch went on when she told me I was soft. and so and again here, just bringing those same principles around, even in my engagement with clients. Of course, I always believe in having those tough conversations, with clients about
hmm.
protecting them and their family members.
Right. Yeah.
But even in that piece, just bringing that same mindset. Every client is a mission set.
Wow.
We're not going to stop until the mission is complete. Make sure your
Mm.
family is protected. We're going to know by the end of the phone call here that this mission is complete. Your family is protected.
Hmm. No, I can't handle this. This is deep. This is a different level. That prep, that preparation that you're speaking of right now, not everyone can relate to, but because not everyone served. But the way you're
For
laying
sure.
it down, it feels like it feels so missionary. And when you say the mission isn't complete, the mission set, like that's it's like it's so intentional. It's so personalized. It's so about it, if you will. It just feels
For
like
sure.
you're
Absolutely.
you're you're like it almost like the word itself, the mission set, The mission needs to be completed. That just in and of itself feels different. It feels like you're gonna have more success because it needs to be completed. It's like, and
For
so
sure.
and so. Did you use your metal throughout your sales career, or are you just picking it up off the shelf and dusting it off?
I've always used metal, of course, and of course, when we talk about mission essential task lists, right? You set your goals. We establish those non-negotiables. We establish those tasks and things that we need to complete to, um, in order to reach our goals. But of course, again, having that switch go off here, post convention, it just makes more sense. I kind of lost myself, if you will, just going through the mundane, the day to day things of that nature. But just remembering a lot of the things that I have learned, over the years, not only in the military but in business for myself. I've been in business for myself since I transitioned out of the military in 2014. So a lot of things that I have learned being in business for myself. We kind of say, you come into this industry, and the processes and systems are here for you, so just plug in and work it, and that's true. But I would encourage anybody, there's a lot that has led you up to this point in time in life. You've had your own experiences, so capitalize on those experiences that you have had. So for me, it was just reigniting those experiences, and taking those things that I have learned throughout my life, and applying them here now that I'm in this industry.
Wow, I love it. And so it's starting to show in production. It's starting to show with the team you're building. So let's get into it. Let's get into what
Okay.
these task lists are and the things that you are dialing in on or creating a mission out of them so you can get more out of it and it's working.
Absolutely. Oh, for sure, man. Absolutely. So for me, man, I like to take things kind of day by day on a daily approach, right? Like I told you earlier, of course, all glory to God, man. So I have to have time with Him. That's part of my medal every single morning.
Mm,
It keeps me grounded. It keeps me level headed. So after that time is spent, of course, I'm in the gym. I'm in the gym sometimes between so right there between 5:30 6 o'clock. I try my best to be in the gym. I spend about an hour and a half in the gym. Of course, that helps me in terms of my mental, because of course, well, a byproduct of going overseas to Iraq, I was diagnosed with PTSD, anxiety, and depression. So I have those highs and lows.
mm,
So help to in order to help overcome those without being heavily medicated, right?
mm,
Um, I'm hitting the gym,
mm,
and of course I spend that time in the gym. Of course, like I told you earlier, I got a personal trainer, where he actually has his medal, his mission essential task list for me to
mm.
conduct every single day. So, and of course, this is before my day gets going in the insurance role. I get home, of course, spend a little time with the family. Again, that's part of my daily medal, if you will. Of course, after I'm spending some time with my daughter, again, I have a 2 year old. I come down here. I usually try to be down here about 8 o'clock.
Mm,
So 8 o'clock comes around, I'm going in. I'm checking my back office. I'm checking emails. I'm checking due outs. I'm checking pending applications. I'm checking things that needs to be done. By 9 a.m. my time Eastern here, I'm on our training call where we're talking about lessons learned from the previous day. Um, of course, once we knock out our training call there at 9 Eastern, you know, I started dialing my leads, those newer leads that have come into the system there. I'm dialing those leads. I'm ignoring phone calls at that point in time because I'm focused. I'm focused on my mission of
mm.
helping families and helping families early in the day, because I know that if I can help families earlier on in the day, it's going to be a great day, you know?
Ah,
And so again, that's part of my medal. Um, but yeah, so of course from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock, I'm on the grind. 12 o'clock, I usually have me a lunch. Then of course by 12:30 1 o'clock, I'm back on the horn. And of course, and all throughout this time period, if I have breaks in my day, I'm answering questions with agents. Again, we're spending time on live dials, which I can't stress the importance of. If you're going to do this job remotely, if you're going to spend time in the virtual world in this virtual sales, you have to be on live dials. It's essential for getting going.
crazy. Yep.
Um, And of course, after 12:01 or so, I'm back on the horn, and so with that, if appointments are already laid out for me for the afternoon, of course, I'm calling those leads. If appointments are not on the schedule, hey, I'm prospecting. I'm on the phones, and so the simplicity of this, man, of course, in the virtual world is that the one call close is one call away, and so I always push for one call close. I don't like scheduling a lot of appointments. So throughout my day, of course, I have some appointments scheduled, but I'm always pushing for the one call close.
Makes sense.
And so that's what it looks like on a daily for me. In terms of my mission essential task list, if you will.
Love it.
So,
So when you're thinking about one call close, first off, the discipline's crazy. I mean, and I think people need to like. There's multiple bullet points that you laid out just now that get you to getting your mind right. First of all, getting up, getting your mind right, staying in shape, and also being ready for the day, which is awesome. And so,
for sure.
and then you have, you said you want to try to do one call closes. Well, one call close means that you're able to get the client on the phone
Hmm.
and help them with the insurance first time. Can you
Absolutely.
walk us through some of your scripting, some of the things you're saying when you first get on the call, and to get this place to get the client to a place where they're settled enough and excited to talk to you about this?
Absolutely, Mark. So of course, I tell every agent, especially when it comes down to your intro, of course, that may change, depending on the lead source. Most of my leads are veterans. I target a lot of veterans out there on Facebook, have my own Facebook campaigns running. And so that essentially sounds like this. Hey, Mark, this is Jeremy. I'm getting back to you here regarding the request that you fill out there on Facebook regarding veterans life insurance, sir. Firstly, thank you for your service to our country. Which branch of service were you? They usually tell me. After that, well, again, thank you for your service, man. Of course, I'm a veteran myself, so of course, here, veteran to veteran, as long as you're allowing me to be brutally honest with you here, good, bad, or indifferent, we're going to put you in the right situation moving forward.
Mm.
Now, Mark, what is it that had you curious about life insurance in the first place? Did you recently lose coverage? Are you about to outlive your term insurance? You have no coverage. Tell me what's going on.
Mm.
And of course, they usually open up and tell me what's going on. Well, Jeremy, I don't have any coverage, of course, because I just recently retired here. I thought the coverage was going to go with me. Unfortunately, it's not. Okay, well, Mark, that's why I'm here. We're gonna definitely talk a little bit about your situation, talk a little bit about your health. We'll talk a little bit about your finances, talk a little bit about your needs, and then what we're gonna do here, we're gonna work on finding an insurance carrier that's willing to offer you the coverage that we're gonna be looking at for you. But importantly, Mark, by the end of our phone call, we're gonna know whether or not you are approved for that coverage. We have to submit a request for coverage. If we don't submit that request for coverage, we don't know whether or not you are approved, and those rates that we look at they mean nothing. Does that make sense to you? And usually that's a yes, right? So of course here, Mark, talk to me a little bit about your health. In the last 5 to 10 years or so, sir, any history of cancer, strokes, heart issues, diabetes, COPD or HIV or AIDS, anything of that nature for you? Well, no, none of that. All right, perfect, Mark. Well, of course you're not. You are receiving disability through the VA, right? Well, yes, Jeremy, I am. Well, of course, what percentage are you at? Well, I'm around 50%. Okay, Mark, what are you claiming in order to obtain 50% disability through the VA? They usually will tell me, what's going on there. And of course, once they tell me what's going on, usually it's not anything major, not anything major. It may be sleep apnea, it may be asthma, it may be back pain issues, things of that nature. And then, of course, once we go through their health qualifications, of course, I usually get into their actual needs for insurance coverage. So, Mark, tell me a little bit about your need when it comes down to insurance. Do you currently have a mortgage in place that you're paying on? A lot of times that is a yes. Okay, makes sense, Mark. Now, what's that remaining mortgage balance? They tell me. Of course, do you have any equity in your home? Yeah, I got about 150,000 in equity. Okay, perfect, Mark. Now, here's one thing I will share with you that a lot of folks don't think about. That equity that you have in your home that becomes life insurance coverage if something were to happen to you. Your family can either refinance, you know, and of course cash out. They can sell that house if something were to happen. So you have something in place there. Because a lot of these guys we talk to, they feel like, well, I haven't done right financially. I own a house, of course, but I try to just reinforce that they have done some things right in life. Absolutely, absolutely. But of course, we go down through their needs analysis. asking questions about their finances. Do they have anything else in place that would offset the cost of expenses when that time does come? A 401k, an IRA, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, things of that nature. A lot of the vendors I talk to have TSPs that, of course, these are cases that I'm going to try to get back into and look at shifting money over to um, annuities at some point in time. A lot of veterans, a lot of these guys retired from the military or got out of the military that went to work as DoD contractors, or Department of Defense. And so again, they have TSPs. That's money that we can come back down the line and move over to an annuity and put them in a better spot. Reduce the market risk. Um, but yeah. So once we get through the needs analysis, Mark, I always tell, especially newer agents getting going, I'm a huge fan of the screen share. So once I get down to the needs analysis, I'm going to now, Mark, send you over a text message. It's going to be coming from an 877 number. It's going to say join my meeting by clicking this link. Okay, insurance regulations have gotten a little bit tighter on us. They want us to show you our license in your state before we get into your options for insurance coverage. I always love to do the screen share with the clients because if they're getting on the screen share with me, it shows their intentionality, meaning they're highly intent about getting insurance coverage in place. They're not just curious, they're not just window shoppers, but I always send over a link in order to get them on a screen share. Once I get them on that screen share, first thing I always show them, Mark, is going to be my license in their respective state. So they know that they're working with a credible advisor. I go over my license number with them. I also tell them I'm going to be sending this over to you via email as well, so you can hang on to it for your records. Okay. The second thing I always show them is my carrier credibility worksheet. What I did was I kind of got creative there. I don't have a creative bone in my body, but got creative. I added a picture of myself to that. I had a picture of myself to the carrier credibility worksheet so they know who they're working with. So not only are they able to see my face, but they see all the insurance carriers that I'm partnered with. And I always tell them, now, Mark, here's the deal, man. I'm not like Jake from State Farm, where I can only show you one insurance company. My job is to shop across the spectrum of insurance carriers that are out there for you. And we want to find you best rate for coverage, but more importantly, we want to give you the coverage that's going to give you the right value, making sure your family needs are protected. Of course, once we get past the carrier credibility worksheet, we actually get over into insurance toolkits, and depending on which option we select them for them, whether it's term life or whole life, or trying to cover, a mortgage, or they're only really concerned about final expenses, I get them onto insurance toolkits where they can actually go through with me and see all the options that are available for them. You know, and of course, once we select the option together, we hey Mark, so here's the deal, man. I have a huge chart and I want to get everybody approved for insurance coverage. Ultimately, that decision is gonna be left up to the insurance company. Okay. So here's what they're gonna need. I go through everything that they're gonna need. So I believe in setting expectations. I don't want to get into an application and ask for the banking information and they weren't expecting it. So I go over everything that we're gonna need, Mark. So we're going to ask a couple questions here about your demographics. So your name, phone number, email address, street address, things of that nature. The insurance company will also want your driver's license number, okay, to validate your identity. Now, Mark, most importantly, they're going to ask for your date of birth and social. We got to have a date of birth and social in order to see if you actually qualify for insurance coverage. They're going to look at two things. They're going to look at your prescription history. They're going to look at your medical history to determine if you qualify for coverage. After that information, we're going to move forward, ask you a couple of medical questions. Fair enough? Perfect. All right, we'll move forward after the medical question. We're going to be putting beneficiaries on file. Now, Mark, I always encourage a primary and a contingent beneficiary. Okay, the reason I encourage a primary and a contingent beneficiary, somewhere it happened to you and your primary at the same time, we don't have to do any additional paperwork. We already got that contingent allocated that will step up and service your primary. More importantly, Mark, we don't want this money to be held up in probate. Okay, once we do that, we'll move forward there and we're going to be setting up your bank service plan. Now, Mark, of course, I want this coverage to go into effect for you immediately. Okay. But of course, here, what date do you normally get paid? Okay. I'll wait for an answer there, right? Because here's the deal. I'm not a huge fan of post dating, but if there's no money in the bank account right now, I don't want the payment drafting right now. And now, of course, that's just common sense, right? A lot of the veterans I talk to, their payments for disability comes in on the first of each month. And so I find myself posting. So if you guys ever wonder why I have such a big first week of the month, it's because I work with a lot of veterans. They receive disability on the first of the month. They want their premiums to come out on the first of each month. And so again here, I don't like chargebacks, and so of course here I try to find a date that works that makes sense for them. I usually tell them, hey, we want to get this drafted as soon as possible, but can you afford the coverage to go into effect here over the next couple of days? They tell me, yay, all right, let's make it happen here. We're going to set up that recurring premium to draft on the first of each month for you. They tell me no, then of course, over the next 2 weeks, what date are you most comfortable with that premium drafting? So your coverage goes into effect. Okay, so of course, once we get beyond all that, Mark, we'll actually, of course, send over a text message to you. I'm gonna walk you through the signature process. Of course, you'll sign on your end. In most cases, I have to sign on my end as well. We're gonna submit your application, and then 99% of the time, Mark, we should know here at the end of the application whether or not you are approved for coverage. Does that make sense? And so that's usually my spiel, man, with the one call close. I tell new agents, when you're doing your intro and you want to do a one call close, don't give any outs in that intro. Just get right into your spiel. So
Hmm.
for a lot of agents, of course, they get on the phone with the clients, and the client, of course, sounds like they're busy. I just talk.
Hmm.
You're busy or not, I'm gonna talk. You have to force me kind of off the phone because again, this is important information.
Yes, it
You
is.
requested information, so it's my job to get it out to you.
Yes.
Hey, so hey Jeremy, I'm actually at work right now, man. I really have to go. Okay, Mark, I'm gonna let you go here in about 2 minutes, okay? But I just want to validate some information here, so that way we can make sure that on that scheduled call back, for one, you're gonna be there, but want to make sure that I'm talking to the right person here. So Mark, I have your date of birth as such and such. Is that accurate?
Mhm.
Okay, perfect, man. Now, of course, here, Mark, just kind of fill me in. Do you currently have any life insurance coverage in place? Well, no, I don't. Okay, Mark. So we understand why this is so important for you. I'm gonna let you go here now, Mark. So I can do a little bit of leg work here until we talk again. Do you have any major medical conditions? Cancer, strokes, heart issues, diabetes, high blood pressure, COPD? No, I don't. Okay. Well, Mark, you got a pretty good chance of getting approved for insurance coverage, man. So Mark, let me tell you a couple times I have available here later today. I have either a 5 p.m. available, a 6:30 p.m., and then on tomorrow I have a um a 2 p.m. or 6 p.m. I always make myself sound busy, even if I'm not very busy, you know, because they need to know that my time matters as well,
Right.
and so but yeah, sir, that's my spiel.
That's very strong. Very strong. Thank you for walking us through that. That's amazing training, amazing content. It's obvious that you do it every day because there's no scripting.
Wash, rinse, and repeat.
Yes, sir.
Wash, rinse, and repeat, sir.
Right?
Absolutely.
And you're just going through it, and it makes perfect sense. So I love it. It's very duplicatable, and it's just something that a lot of people should be playing back here. So, Jeremy, I can't thank you enough. You're having a fantastic year. Talk to us a little about what 2024 is set for that you have for, as far as goals, because you're obviously crushing your goals right now. I,
Absolutely,
I
man.
want to know what that looks like.
Absolutely. But by the end of 2024, man, of course, well, take it back there. My emphasis now is on recruiting. Of course, you have conversations about it. I've always been hesitant about recruiting, but by the end of 2024, man, I would like to have about 50 agents, on my team. I want people to understand this business and the opportunity that it presents. So I would like to have about 50 agents on my team,
Hmm,
by the
that's
end of
strong.
2024. So yeah, man, we got quite a few agents that are currently going to be starting onboarding here soon. So super ecstatic about that. But yeah, man, I want other people to um, reap some of the rewards that I've actually seen and obtained, and of course, being in this industry. So that's the major goal, man. I want to help other people. This is all about helping other people now. Of course, this is great. This industry is great for me and my family, financially,
Yep.
personally,
Mm-hmm.
even spiritually, man. Because it's definitely, I have my days, so
Mm-hmm.
it brings me closer to God, Absolutely. But yeah, man. So it's all about helping other people now.
That's amazing.
Absolutely,
And likewise, I was gonna say, like it should be, right? You've
for
done
sure.
well. Your process is so locked in. You've elevated your process. You are in a prime position to teach many and help a lot of people come and see um, and experience what it is you're experiencing. And so, props
Absolutely.
to you, man. Props to you for paying it forward and getting more people to see what fruit is available to them as well. So, thank you, Jeremy. Appreciate you for jumping on with us. Thank you for sharing, as always, and keep crushing it, my guy.
Absolutely, Mark. Thanks for having me.
All right, y'all. God bless. Keep listening.
God bless her.
Jeremy Lewis. God bless.